Okay, we're going to worry about user can select seats and undo the selection. Notice on EasyJet, um, at this stage in the process, it knows that there are 4 seats to select, and it allows me to toggle on and toggle off my seat selection. And it's giving me a lovely indicator up here, letting me know how far I've got in that process. If I've got 4 seats to select, at this stage here, 3 people are seated, one of them still standing, and I can indicate that. So I want to do something similar with my site. I've got T and F taken and free, and I'm going to make that look nicer eventually, but for the moment I want to see what happens when I click. If I click on something now, did you see that change that something to B? Change that one, that changes to B, that changes to B, that changes to B. It looks like I can book other people's seats, and I can book as many seats as I like. I can book the whole aircraft if I want to, and I can book the seats that have been taken as well. Here we go, I'm going mad, I'm booking the whole flight. I should only be allowed to book 4 of them. You can see 0 of 4 booked. I'm only supposed to be booking 4. Okay, the power has gone to my head. Let's refresh, put that straight. Let's see what's doing that. That's this bit of code here. It says handle the click event. So this says if you've got a TD that's marked .n in the plan, then the click function on that, it changes the text to B, and it does that irrespective. So I've got to stop people booking seats that have already been booked, and I've got to limit the total number of seats booked to, in this case, 4. All right, now forcing users to do things. We've got to think about the state at all stages. So when this click happens, I'm going to run through all the calculations to see if I should be doing it. I think this is EasyJet telling me that I've spent too long, 20 minutes on an activity. Okay, I'll let that seat booking go and close it down. I feel bad about holding seats. Other people can't book at EasyJet. All right, so in here, I'm going to put the logic. Every time the user clicks, I'm going to redo all the calculations to see if this click is valid. So how do I decide if a click is valid? Well, first thing, I can't let anyone book a seat that's already been taken. So if it's got a T, then I shouldn't let it be taken. So let's put in that restriction first. Whoops, so I'm going to say Shift A for append. And first off, can I book this seat? Okay, I can book that seat only if it's free. So how do I decide if it's free? At the moment, I'm using the text content. F indicates it's free, T indicates it's taken. So if the seat is taken, so what's the seat? That is $this dot text, and that, if it is free, then I can book it. Let's try that. Let's reload. So when I click on a T, nothing happens. When I click on an F, then it changes it to a B. Click on an F, changes it to a B. Click on a B, doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's going to be more complicated than that. Not only that, I'm not liking these T's and B's and F's. I want another mechanism to indicate if the seat's been booked or not. And I'm tempted to change that. Now I'll stick with the text for the minute. It just means I'm going to have to undo some of this work when I come back to it and change that T and B to images, which is what I really want. Nah. Okay, so if I click on a free, it lets me change it to a B, but it's letting me book as many as I like, and it should only let me book 4. The other thing is if I try and click on a T, nothing should happen, that's fine, but if I click on something that I've already booked, I want that to be unbooked. So let's take care of the B case. So we've got a number of cases to deal with. If it's an F, then it's free and I can book it. I'm going to put in else. So the next case I'm going to consider is if it's already been booked, then I'm going to unbook it. So if it's already been booked, if it's a B already, then I'm going to unbook it. I'm going to set it to free. Okay, so that should be undoing that. So I'll yank that line, paste it in here. What's happening with my indentation? That's a tab there. I'm going to change that to spaces. They should be indented a bit more. So if it was already booked, I'm going to put it back in the pool and make it free. Okay, I'm going to write that out. The other thing that's going on that's irritating me is when my mouse is over here, it doesn't look clickable. It's the wrong kind of cursor. I'm going to change that cursor pointer. It looks like TDN indicates the seats that I can click on. So I'm going to change the CSS. Well, no, I'll test check that this works first. Write that out, reload. Okay, so if I click on a T, nothing happens. If I click on an F, it changes to a B. That's good. If I click on a B, it should change it back to an F. Yes, it did. Okay, and now let's fix that irritation. vi seats.css. That's the .n. So if I click on if the mouse is over a td.n, that's a seat that I can potentially book. I'm going to change the cursor pointer. Okay, so that just invites a click. Let's reload, and now can you see the cursor changes? So F goes to B, yep, T doesn't change, B goes to F. That's the behavior I want. I also want to update the number of seats booked, so I want that to update, and I also want to not update once I've hit 4. So let's find out what this guy is. Inspect that. So that is span seats alloc. So that's the number I want to update. Let's update that in JavaScript. So after that's happened, I want to count how many seats I've booked, and whatever that is. Okay, that's tough. All right, it's time to stop doing that stuff with the TNF, and let's not indicate it using TNF, let's indicate it using classes. That's a much better way to keep state. What I'm doing is keeping state. At the moment, the state, whether the seat is booked or not, indicated by the contents of the TD, and it's a lot easier if we indicate the state of the thing based on classes that have been set. I'm going to just check to see if any classes have already been set, because I don't want to go inventing these things if they're not there. That's N, and there's no classes indicating whether it's been booked or not. So I'm going to invent some classes to indicate whether a seat's been booked, and I'm going to start ignoring these T and Fs. All right, so a seat can be in one of 3 states. It can either be taken or free, or it's booked. And so I'm going to have 3 different classes for taken, free, and booked. Let's start off by making the CSS do that. So, CSS. Your TD can be free, and if that's the case, let's set the background color to be green. Green being a universal free. So for yank paste, okay, it could be mine. And let's go for EasyJet orange. Okay, and 3 yank paste. The other case it could be is booked. And if it's booked, let's make it gray. Okay. So I've got free, mine, and booked, and I need to, when the page loads, I need to set those things up. Okay. All right, so that was handling the click event, and at the minute I'm changing text here, but I want to actually be checking classes. Let's set the classes based on the current booking situation. Current booking situation I can find in the JSON, this alloc here, this indicates whether a seat's been booked or not, and I'm going to use that to indicate booking. So 1 means it's been booked, a 0 means it's free. Let's reload this, and we can see that. No, I lost it. Okay, looking at booking. First seat there is taken, that's because it's a 1. Second seat is free, that's a 0. And then I've got taken, taken, so that's 2 1s, and then a 0 for free, and then a 1 for taken. Okay, so this is just the seats in order, and I'm setting T or F based on the 1 or 0. And so the data that's in the HTML to start with, that's all kind of redundant, so I don't need that. What I'm going to do is this alloc is a list of 137, which I'm hoping is exactly the number of seats. No, the length of that is going to be 138 because it goes 0 up to 137. So there's 138 seats, I think. Get the calculator up. Here's my calculator. So 138 is the number of seats, I think. The number of rows I've got is 23. And there are 6 seats. So 23 times 6, times 6 is 138, which is exactly the size of this array, 138. Fantastic. So this is in one-to-one correspondence with the row, with a list of seats. Okay, I think we can set that up pretty straightforwardly. So we'll do this as soon as the data has been loaded. So that's the get JSON that's loaded the data. And in here, I want to run over all of my seats. The seats are already in place. Let's say var TRL equals dollar. Let's find all the TDs. So that's found all the TDs, and I'm going to run through all of those TDs and set the booking depending on the corresponding element from this array alloc. Okay, I'm going to make a deliberate mistake. For var I equals 0, I is less than trl.length, I plus plus. No, TRL is a misleading name. TDL would be better. This is a flat list of TD nodes. Okay, so inside this loop, I'm going to find the corresponding element of the d.alloc array. So if d.alloc square brackets I, and that's a simple array of numbers, I think. Yes, they're numbers, they're not strings. If that equals 1, then I'm going to add class 2. So dollar $TDLI, that's the ith element, and I'm going to add class, oh, caps lock the wrong way around, add class, and a 1 indicates that it's been taken, and so we had class booked for that. So that's booked, and if it's a 0, then it's free. So let's have the same thing again. If it's 0, then we'll make it free. That should change the colors. What could possibly go wrong? Let's write that out and reload. Okay, so I've got green and I've got grey, and it starts well. I've got a grey T, a green F, a grey T, but then can you see here this TD has been selected? And so we've got a problem. Now it's out of step because that one is grey. This one here is taken, that should be free. I should be skipping this middle row here. That was my deliberate mistake. And it's probably caused an error. Let's look at the console and reload. No, we didn't have an error, but it all went wrong down here at the bottom because I have more TDs than I have values in that alloc. Those two arrays don't match up exactly. My problem was that I was running down a list of all TDs and I should have been more selective. I should only pick the TDs that are in plan, and I should only pick the TDs that have got class N. That should make it line up. Reload. Okay, that's looking better. The T's and F's are lining up. That green is way too dark. Let's make that a lighter green. Green, lime. Okay, that's too bright, but we're not worrying about that. Now the T's and F's are really getting in the way. They don't do anything for us. I think I'm going to ditch all the T's and F's. Now that I can see it all lines up, I get rid of the T's and F's. And so in JavaScript, if it's allocated to that one, and let's also change the TD, so $TDLI, and I'm going to change the text to, well, let's put in a dot for the moment. Reload. Okay. What happens if we don't put in a dot? We put in just blank. Reload that. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, that'll do. We'll put the dot in. I was worried that it was going to collapse and we wouldn't be able to see it at all. Okay, that's my seat plan, and I want to be able to click on these things and make things happen. Okay. All right, so this section of code here, that is clear the text content and set classes. Okay, now what happens when someone clicks? This is all going to change now. Can I book this seat? It doesn't depend on the text content, it depends on the class. So if this .text, now the thing is has class, oops, caps lock problem. If it has class free, so if it has class free, what I'm going to do is add the class. Add class. Was it mine? Okay, and similarly this condition here is if this has class mine, so if it has class mine, then we will add class free. I can't do more than that as well. So if it was free and I'm adding that, I've also got to remove class dot remove class free. Okay, because you can have more than one class. So if it was free, then I'm going to add class mine, I'm going to remove class right, and this one here the other way around. I'm going to add class free and I'm going to remove class mine. So that should toggle. Right, and reload. Okay, something went wrong. Let's F12. That's line 36. Unexpected token. Let's go to line 36. Yeah, okay, so when I'm chaining stuff together, I don't have that semicolon at the end of the line. So I'm chaining this dot add class and then dot remove class. I could have put in again dot this remove class, but I chose not to. Write that out. Reload. Okay, and when I click on a free seat, it goes orange. And when I click on an orange seat, it goes green. If I click on a grey seat, nothing happens. This is going well. Okay, now my problem is I can book way too many seats. I can book the whole airplane, and we don't want that. So I've got to stop users doing that. I'll do that in the next video.